Just looking around, making sure that no dead men are looking around because The Undertaker is back. This is Fred Ricciani, Scott Anderson, TSC News. We are here to recap the WWE Battleground 2015 pay-per-view from top to bottom and take all your questions, comments, and complaints and praise live on the air. If you're listening to us on youtube.com/thesportscourier, please feel free to give us a like and a share. We'd greatly appreciate it. And if you're new here, by the end of it, I think you'll definitely want to subscribe to this channel. But enough of that. Scott, the big news is The Undertaker interfered in the main event of the WWE title match. Well, it was the WWE title match of WWE Battleground. He attacked Brock Lesnar, and Brock was just demolishing Seth with suplexes. It went dark. Undertaker appeared. He looked like Brock Lesnar's dad, wanting to beat him up for not feeding the chickens at the farm. And then he chokeslammed him, gave him 2 tombstones, posed, and the referee and Seth Rollins were nowhere to be found. Now, admittedly, I was like, holy crap, it's Undertaker. This is awesome, because you know what? That's the feeling you get when Undertaker returns. However, when you take a step back and you think about it, I thought this. 1, whatever Undertaker was taking to look that good at WrestleMania, he's off it right now. And he looked a little rough. God bless him. He looked a little rough. Number 2, what the hell happened with the match? We got no finish. Number 3, as cool as it was to see The Undertaker get his revenge on Brock Lesnar, albeit a year and a half too late, okay, they essentially, and I could be wrong, but they essentially destroyed the badass aura that Brock Lesnar has. Because rather than have Undertaker, appear out of the darkness and cost Brock the match with like a chokeslam or something, or even just a tease, they had to have Undertaker literally just destroy Brock. It wasn't even after Brock had a hard-fought battle with Seth. He was having a workout. He was deadlifting Seth, okay? It was just a regular workout, And instead, Undertaker just destroys him. So while it's cool that Undertaker returned, while it's cool that Undertaker finally got his revenge, while it's cool that Undertaker still looks alive and looks younger than he did a few years back in those photos, the thing is this, and I could be wrong again, but what's the point of seeing Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar now at SummerSlam? Scott, I'll let you begin.
Well, let's you got me all over the place, because I wanted to say Taker didn't look as good as Taker looked a couple months ago, but Taker probably only got the call about, a week ago. So, he's probably sitting back with his wife and his kid and not really, hitting the gym as hard as he could be in preparation for this. So let's give the guy a little benefit of the doubt right there.
Okay.
But I will say this, though. In the 10 seconds that gong goes off and he gets in the ring, for a guy who's out of shape, 50 years old, blah, 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 that's pretty impressive. Now, here's my question. Seth Rollins was laid out, wasn't getting up from a potential 3 count, and he disappeared real quick.
Yeah.
So talk about lack of selling. If anything, they should have, had Rollins stay there. The referee can run because, he's like 110 pounds, and just for the hell of it, just Taker toss him out or something. Make it a little bit more, realistic. But I don't mind Taker getting his revenge, but my question is now, Lesnar being a face, I guess that's out the window, because obviously you're not going to boo the hell out of Taker. Although when Taker hit the low blow, the crowd was definitely kind of like, what the...
Okay.
Who do we cheer here?
And I'll retort by saying this. Scott, if you were confronted by Brock Lesnar, and you had one way to get out, would you kick him in the groin?
Yeah, but Taker, I'm not The Undertaker either.
So what? The Undertaker's a 50-year-old man.
No, you know what I want to do? And I texted my buddy this. I said, except for getting suplexed, to hell and back, I want to be able to slap Brock Lesnar like Seth Rollins did.
Yeah, and live to tell about it. So Alex Thorpe is asking us, so did the match between Rollins and Lesnar just finish? Pretty much, but there was no finish. And look, it's cool. This pay-per-view is technically $10 for most people with the network.
Technically, it's free for most people.
Or free for a lot of people signing up, and it's a big return. But if you're trying to suspend disbelief, if you're trying to emphasize the importance of a main event, of a title match, okay, why not give us a finish then? If you're going to kill Brock Lesnar, why not cost him the match? I mean, you technically did, but why not do it officially?
I was going to say, technically, I guess Rollins wins by DQ. Or no, Lesnar wins.
Or you know what? I would have rather had a DQ because you know what? At least it would have been a finish.
Technically, it is, I guess.
At least it would have been a finish because it's one of those rare times where it's a big enough angle where it warrants a disqualification or count-out finish. And you didn't see anybody booing. You mean after Undertaker was posing because they just saw a freaking amazing return. But again, Lesnar got destroyed. It's one thing if Lesnar was like choke slammed when the referee, after a ref bump, and Seth gets the pin, or maybe there's some DQ or something. It's another thing when it's just Lesnar outright getting destroyed. You know, we talk about this all the time with John Cena and some of his feuds in the past, and some other feuds where guys just beat each other up, and then you're like, why do you want to pay to see him fight? It's like this now. Brock beat Taker at WrestleMania when it mattered most, and Undertaker just killed him right now. Why do I need to see this rematch?
And then they have to have a match in 5 weeks. So.
Yeah, why? Unless they're doing a triple threat, which in that case I just think it's kind of dumb because you know how it's going to end. You know Rollins is going to find a way to sneak out and win and retain the title. But that's not even the most mind-boggling thing that I saw tonight. And I will say overall this was a good show, not a great show. It had one great match, but the booking itself was just very, very confusing. And I'll tell you this, and we talked about it off the air, and I'll let you finish in a sec. Yeah. A lot of the same old. Like, even the stuff that was really good, it was just nothing we haven't seen before. And it just felt even the Cena-Owens match, it just felt repetitive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if I'm booking this match, well, the match came on about, 10:30, 10:31-ish? Mm-hmm. So I'm booking this match the way it went down, and it went, the show went off the air at 10:45. So you had time to do this. I'm booking this match where Lesnar gets the win. He wins the title, and then it's just, it's a 10-minute match, so he's just all cocky, blah, 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 and he does the stupid, I'll challenge anybody right now, and then you have Taker come out, and even just let Taker beat him real quick, get the title, and then, you set up the match at SummerSlam that way. I mean, I know you don't want to give Taker the title at this point and all that, but to have him do what he did, I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's nice to see the Taker more than once a year, but kind of like what you said, he destroys Lesnar, who's supposed to be unbeatable, unbreakable, whatever you want to call him. And look, if Taker was back full-time or even Brock Lesnar part-time, it would be great. But we know come, what is it, August 25th, I guess, the Monday after SummerSlam, we're not going to see him again until March. So
yeah. Or at least January.
Sucks.
Yeah,
late. You know what I mean? So it's like, it would be cool if it was more full-time with the guy. And
you know what would be cool?
Schedule, I wouldn't mind.
You know what would be cool? If Lesnar actually just destroyed Seth like everybody wanted to see, and then Undertaker comes out at the end, and instead of Lesnar backing down, they brawl.
Or do
a stare down. Or just do a stare down.
What was it, 2007, 2008 thing with have a casket come out, the Druids come out, and just have Lesnar sitting there and do something like that even.
Yeah, just something elaborate like that. But you know what? I think Lesnar versus Taker for the title as a one-off would be fine because it's a big match. Okay, I don't think Undertaker would win. But you know what? At least there's more intrigue than just Undertaker wanting to get revenge for the streak. It's the title on the line. The Undertaker hasn't held a world title in 5 years. Can Undertaker, do it at this stage of his career? And you can tell a great story.
And you know what you could do as well, and I don't want to say this because I'm watching the replay of the pay-per-view, and the first match is on, so you might know where I'm going with this. But if you gave the title to Taker, had him fight Lesnar, those two could destroy each other. And that's when you could have the Sheamus cash in and have him run with the belt for a little bit. So at least you still have another full-timer with the title. Not that we want Sheamus in 2015 with the title, but it would make sense.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, well, a lot of stuff didn't make sense. And you know what? I mean, I said this was a good show. I may very well change my mind as we run through this whole thing.
Just remember, I think it was Jeremy Bauer said on, it was either Facebook or Twitter, Battleground 2013 basically had the same ending when Big Show knocked out Orton.
Yeah, the difference is it's with the guy that people like. But, and another thing, too, the show ended at 10:45, 10:46. So
that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of, it's a lot of time. You know what I mean? That's a lot of time.
They added a match and they added a segment, but right. They could have done
enough. Well, it wasn't enough. But let's go through this show from the beginning. I know you missed the early part. I'll just let you know you didn't miss much the first hour. Honestly,
I was kind of upset that I missed the King Barrett and R-Truth match. I wanted to see that, but I also heard real quick. I don't know if you know this. They banned the name Wade, so he can't use Wade Barrett anymore.
I mean, Vince has always been a stickler for first names, at least in recent years.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not
been
surprised.
Wade Barrett for 5 years, so it'll either be King Barrett, Bad News Barrett, Barrett Barrage, Jobber Barrett. Who knows?
I don't know. Or Robert, or Remy Baratheon from Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Whatever works.
Yeah. So we had King Barrett take on R-Truth, and King Barrett won. Nobody cared. We had Sheamus versus Randy Orton in a match that was really enhanced by the crowd. Crowd loved Randy Orton. Crowd didn't really care for Sheamus. These guys have had good matches before. The problem is a lot of them have taken place on free TV on a consistent basis, and they often end in some stupid non-finish. So
just so you know, Fred,
yeah.
real quick, I'm sorry. This wasn't the crowd loving Randy Orton. It was actually a family reunion.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, our friend Manpree is a gigantic Randy Orton fan. He's got a lot of extended family in St. Louis. Why didn't I think of that? Randy Orton's from St. Louis.
It was the Manpree reunion. They had the family reunion.
There you go. Randy Orton from St. Louis. The Manpree Randy Orton fan club's in St. Louis. Should have known. All right, well, it was Randy Orton's hometown. That's why the crowd loved Randy Orton. And Randy won with the RKO. Really nice paced match. Felt like more of an old school style match. It didn't do a million moves, a million counters, didn't kick out of a million finishes. It was just good, logical pro wrestling. Only thing is there was one period in the match where Randy Orton took a little too long to set up the RKO. Just kind of the suspension of disbelief. But other than that, I mean, a really, really well worked match. And people could get on Randy Orton and say, oh, he's slow, he's this, he's that. But the guy, to me, is one of the most realistic workers in the business. He didn't get hit with I think, what happened? I think he got hit with a chair or something happened on Raw a couple weeks back where his head got thrown into a steel pole and then he got up and he got up 2 seconds later. Other than that, I mean, the guy's typically really good at selling and he's a great worker. I love Kevin Owens. Okay, I love these John Cena matches for the U.S. title and everything, but I really, really, really would like to see some of these moves like Randy Orton does. Make them mean more. We'll get to that with the Cena Owens match, but I'd like them to mean more.
I think that's what Austin said in his podcast with the stunner. It doesn't mean anything now, right?
Exactly, because you just you throw it away. But Randy Orton, when he hits that RKO, more often than not, it's 1, 2, 3, and it was the case tonight. Makes no sense that Sheamus lost, but if we go by the booking of all the Money in the Bank winners except for maybe Miz and Randy Orton, in the last 5-6 years. Okay, I mean, they do this with the Money in the Bank winner. They beat him, and then you cash in when you least expect it. And I guess their tactic is, if we beat the person, you won't think about them cashing in, which means when they cash in, it's a surprise. Because surprising people is more important in 2015 than booking a credible champion who can actually make you money, who fans are emotionally invested in.
Yep.
Great logic there. So, yeah, Sheamus lost. We had Stephanie McMahon tower over JoJo. Didn't even point out that JoJo's super short. Either that or Stephanie was wearing heels. But she kind of looked like Karen Jarrett when she was the director of the TNA Knockouts on Impact a few years back, where she just wore these big heels and towered over everybody, including AJ Styles, which is just ridiculous. This was kind of the same deal, and she was talking about how there's a revolution and how she picked all the NXT divas for their respective cheerleading squads and how this is going to be a revolution. And then the new Divas division, it's going to be gym class where you have teams of 3 and you play dodgeball. Okay, maybe not that part, but...
Basically, though, she's a face now for the Divas division.
Sort of, yeah. I don't get why they're in teams, though.
Because she needs a whistle. And no.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, as Naomi's team is, that's just pretty bad.
Yeah, oh yeah, Team Bad. That's
Team
right.
Bad.
That's right, and what they did is book a random triple threat, with one representative of each team. We had Primetime Players against New Day. This is okay. Not going to lie, I took a bathroom break and I helped my sister bake some avocado and chocolate vegan cookies, which are very good during this match. Yeah, they're very good. I just had a couple of them before, but it was okay. Primetime Players got the win. I'm happy for Titus and Darren, who are super nice guys, do a ton of charity work, good ambassadors for WWE. But I feel bad because the New Day was just hitting their stride and then they get the rug pulled out from underneath them. They could always regain the tag title. What?
out of nowhere. It was just very odd. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Titus won that Celebrity Dad a Year award that from some random organization that picked random dads, and there's the push. I'm happy for him. I'm not saying they don't deserve the success. Just you could add the New Day run with the tag titles for a little bit, and you could add the Primetime Players eventually win the SummerSlam.
It's called a build-up.
Yeah. Rather than do this abrupt freaking title change.
When that match 5 weeks ago happened, I think me and you were both watching it, and all of a sudden it's like, Titus O'Neil gets the pin, and I think I texted you. I'm like, what just happened? Like, you turn your head and it's just like odd. Yeah, very. But yet, and then the next 5 weeks we've seen the variation of that match anyway. So, match at the pay-per-view kind of doesn't matter,
Skydoll Sky on Twitter says that she went to high school with JoJo. She's always been a shorty. Well, I'm just saying, if JoJo ever needs a friend, how should I put this? If she ever needs a friend of the male race, just tell her to give me a call. We can hang out. It'll be cool. We'll go to the Santa Monica Pier, wherever that is. All right.
That'd be in Santa Monica.
Yeah. I figured that. Okay. I'm from New Jersey, all right? Cut me some slack.
Well, how about it? You should have went to Asbury Park last night, speaking of Jersey.
For what?
Springsteen.
I'm not the biggest Springsteen fan.
Neither am I, but it's still cool to see. I mean, he played a, out of nowhere show. I mean, come on.
I know, but I have this friend named Ben who's, like, really hardcore Republican and hates Bruce Springsteen. And if I went, he would have just blown up my phone. Oh, you stupid liberal. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Bruce sucks. Oh, he makes all these stupid political statements. And I'll be like, Ben, I just went to see the concert. No, you're a liberal, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm kind of glad I didn't. Although I kind of wish I did, because Ben's boy Cena won tonight, and I would have liked to have trolled him. But it is.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. We had Roman Reigns take on Bray Wyatt. This was a match. Good match. Just the crowd was sort of hot for it. They had some pockets of fans being for Roman, some pockets of being for Bray. All things considered, with the hotter crowd, I think this would have been considered maybe a great match. It was very good. It was very good. I just hate this feud. I hate this feud. I'm tired of the Bray Wyatt character. This dude either needs to turn babyface or reunite with the Wyatt family or something, and he kind of sort of did tonight. And so at the end, what happened was Bray and Roman were going at it, and then all of a sudden on the outside, a hooded figure appears. And he takes out Roman Reigns with a super kick and some punches. And I'm thinking, had the referee not see this? But he didn't. So they threw him back in the ring. Bray hit the Sister Abigail. And Roman Reigns, once again, lost a major match on television. He lost the Royal Rumble while winning it. Okay? He lost to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He had to feud with the Big Show, which essentially is a loss, and he actually had a pinfall loss against the Big Show earlier this year. And then he lost that Fatal 4-Way at Payback, and then at Money in the Bank, he lost again. So what happens when you got a guy that's on the rise, that needs to be protected, that you want to be your next John Cena? You beat him again.
The Dean Ambrose of last year method.
Yes, and that worked so well for Dean Ambrose. And as I tweeted earlier, R.I.P. Roman Reigns main event push. Yeah, he'll still get some main events. Yeah, he'll still be in every major segment. But the bloom is off the rose. Yeah, it's done.
That's not a bad thing though right now.
No, it is a bad thing right now, because this dude should not be losing to Bray Wyatt right now. He shouldn't be losing to
but if Bray Wyatt would have lost, you would say Bray Wyatt shouldn't be losing right now either.
Yeah, but if I had to pick who I would want to win,
you know what I mean? We can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
brother.
I know, but you know what? I would rather have Roman win. Bray's damaged goods. This isn't Bray from like 8 months ago when he returned.
If Roman's not ready, like people said, and his build-up since Mania has been very good, this isn't a bad thing to take a step back. I don't want to see...
He's taken a million steps back. He's had a hard... Okay, Michael Cole even pointed out he hasn't won a match since Money in the Bank. He thought he didn't know. Yeah, Michael Cole said that. Okay, he even... Okay, bro, think about this. He's supposed to be your next top babyface. He's at the end of the opening of Raw when he has a fist like this, looking all badass, all intimidating. This guy has a great physique, good-looking dude, badass. When you give him little to no crappy scripted material, he's pretty damn good. The crowd wants to like him. And every case this year, almost every case, you put him in situations where he just looks like hell. I want all of you. It's not on the WWE Network because they didn't upload all the old Raw and SmackDown episodes for some strange reason, but it's probably on YouTube somewhere, and you can go back and watch the pay-per-views. Go back and watch some of the matches and angles featuring Batista, Randy Orton, and John Cena in 2003, 2004, and 2005. Particularly Batista and John Cena. Now look at those matches, look at those angles, and see how these guys were booked. These guys were booked like stars on the rise. These guys rarely lost. These guys were not stuck in stupid feuds with Kane. These guys were not stuck in stupid feuds. Well, technically John Cena did feud to the Big Show, but the Big Show was significantly more relevant 11 years ago. My point is, these guys were significantly protected. Okay? You didn't see John Cena on the way to the top lose 3 straight pay-per-views. You didn't see Randy Orton lose 3 straight pay-per-views. You didn't see Batista lose 3 straight pay-per-views.
But you know what the answer to that could be?
What?
In 2003, they had a brand extension, meaning you had Raw and SmackDown separate. And look, I know the roster isn't that deep right now, but you didn't have everybody. So on your pay-per-view, first of all, it was every other month you got to see these guys. Because one month it was a Raw pay-per-view, one month it was a SmackDown pay-per-view.
True, and it was week to week as opposed to every couple days, yeah.
Exactly. So, there was a little difference. You can't have, Batista lose 3 straight pay-per-views. You're talking 6 months. But here, you're talking only 6 weeks. Little different. But I agree with you, though. If you have a guy that you're going to build up, look, I'm going to go with the match right now that I'm rewatching, the Orton-Sheamus match. Say what you want about Sheamus. He's the Money in the Bank winner. He shouldn't be losing these matches. I know it's Orton's hometown, but you have him losing. 10 years ago now, 11 years ago, that might not happen because of that situation. You only had so much, you're talking from a 60-man roster to a 30-man roster, and out of them 30 guys, you're only talking 15 that were really credible.
Right, and you look at, you talk about Money in the Bank, look at the best booked Money in the Bank winner in history. The first one, Edge. Edge is a perfect example of a guy that was Mr. Money in the Bank. He rarely lost, only lost in big match situations, ultimate opportunist, but was well protected. Okay, he felt like a real threat. All right, the only time I think he lost was maybe once Matt Hardy in a blood feud, which he ended up winning the feud anyway.
Yeah, something that wasn't really matter.
Yeah, and then I think he lost I think he had one match with Triple H, had some tomfoolery, but he rarely lost. But the one constant about Edge, right, was that you felt that this was a guy on the rise. You felt like this was a guy that was a serious threat. He was protected. He stood out. He wasn't losing matches to Dolph Ziggler, every few weeks. He wasn't losing random matches to Neville. He's not losing clean on pay-per-view here 1 month after winning the Money in the Bank. Especially now when he's making Scott cough at this bad booking. It's
horrible booking.
Yeah. So
that's the issue, though. Like I said, you go back 10, 12 years, maybe Cesaro is a top guy. Maybe Rusev is a top guy. Wyatt's a top guy. And they're on separate shows, and maybe those 4 guys are your lead on SmackDown, and you got the other 4 guys on Raw. Mm-hmm. You don't have that now, and maybe, as much as we wanted to see the brands come back together just because of how bad SmackDown got, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing to split them up again, although I don't want to see 2 world titles, but... yeah, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Or always try to diversify the shows and everything. It just
exactly. Make it because you're right. You have it's the same. All SmackDown is a bad continuation of Raw, which isn't even a bad continuation, and it's the same matches over and over again. I mean, we don't need to see these matches. How many times do you need to see Randy Orton versus Sheamus or Paige versus Nikki or Brie Bella, or as great as Owens and Cena matches have been, I don't need to see it for the last 8 weeks. I'd rather see it spread out.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. Yeah.
True, and I just got an email from my buddy Paul Lazenby, who I want to shout out, who's saying I was ripping him off with his comments about the main event. Well, Paul, I was actually going to shout you out when we got to the end of the recap, my friend, but I will shout you out now. Yes, it was Paul, and I think I actually did shout out Paul before, or maybe I did it off the air. My bad. Well, Paul Lazenby, a frequent contributor of TFC News, who also happens to be a great actor, great stuntman, the actor playing Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and one of the co-stars of that Christmas movie that I keep forgetting the name of that he's going to kill me about, starring The Miz and Paige. So a WWE film star. Anyway, Paul, I'll repeat what Paul said, because Paul's claiming that Swagger jacked him. Paul is saying that he thinks it was not fair, or not fair. I'll read you the exact thing. I'm trying to make it a little more PG-ish, okay? I ended up putting it on halfway through while cleaning my apartment. What the F, Fred? Another carbon copy kick-out fest to drive the final nail into the coffin of Kevin Owens. And that non-finish of the main event served no purpose. Now, I think the non-finish served some purpose, but I disagreed with it. But, Paul, I agreed with what you were saying, man. I wasn't trying to swagger jack you. So, please, for the love of God, do not kill me. When you come to New York, I promise I will be bearing gifts and not fisticuffs. And I will not slap you across the face like Brock Lesnar. I swear, please. Don't hurt me. All right. I think we're good.
Yeah,
I think we're good. Although now he might have shot his computer and want to kill me some more. And actually, I think I'm getting some threatening DMs right now of saying I'm going to end up like the villain of Gears of War. But all right. Shout out to him. Buy his book, by the way, When We Were Bouncers on Amazon.com. Great book, if I do say so myself, When We Were Bouncers. All right. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte versus Brie Bella. Better than most Divas matches you're going to see on the main roster. But a little all over the place. All over the place.
The match, that's why.
Brie Bella seemed to hurt the match a bit. Charlotte, God bless her. I'm so happy she won here. She ended up tapping out Brie Bella with a figure 8. She seemed lost here. Just kind of really slowed down, blew a couple spots. Sasha was clearly guiding her, along the way. She's still kind of green. I think she can get better, but at the moment she's still a bit green. But she's a great athlete. She's got star presence. Crowd likes her, and she got this win for her late brother Reed Flair. Her and her father Ric Flair were embracing in the back, which they showed on social media, not on the network. Be a beautiful moment. Happy for her, but just too much going on. Topes onto the girls on the outside. Them picking. They came out as teams. Here's what really annoyed me. Becky and Charlotte came out with Paige to Paige's theme song. Sasha came out with Tamina, who has no business being there. No offense to Tamina, who's a nice lady, but not a great wrestler. She came out with Tamina and Naomi to Naomi's theme song. And then, of course, you had the Bellas. I mean, come on. Becky had the goggles on. You couldn't get Becky in the match or at least let her do her entrance. She had the goggles. You needed to kill time anyway.
Why not put Alicia Fox in instead of Brie Bella?
Yeah. I don't know. What did you think about this match, Scott?
You kind of summed it up. I think, again, without, Brie Bella probably would have been better just from what I've read about it. Charlotte's green, but again, maybe she was thrown off by the fact that it was a triple threat. She's used to working with Sasha, and, obviously they main evented house shows. They main evented here in Philly and a couple other things. So maybe she just wasn't used to Brie Bella. I mean, they didn't have a lot of time to go over the match, and, who knows? I mean, a lot of different situations. Hopefully, if the match did have some issues, the powers that be don't look at it like, oh, these divas can't wrestle, and, they're not model material anyway, so we don't really want them up here. Let's send them back to NXT. Hopefully you like that, huh? Hopefully, hopefully that doesn't happen. And, it's like, hey, you know what? Let's give these girls a chance, let them develop and go from there. That would be the right thing to do. Yeah. By the way, was your network feed buffering like mine was? Horrible. Oh my God. Last year
when they had like the first real major event, which I think was WrestleMania 30, as a live streaming pay-per-view.
That was their first, yeah.
Flawless. Pay-per-views are flawless, and for the last 5-6 months, buffering issues, freezing, skipping all over the place. And David Bixenspan tweeted this out, and I didn't think about it until he tweeted it. WWE Network is the only major streaming service he uses that buffers all the time. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I watch HBO Go all the time. I watch Netflix all the time. I've used Showtime On Demand. I've used, obviously I'm on YouTube, and YouTube occasionally has its issues. I use Vimeo. I use Dailymotion, and yet WWE Network, out of all the premium streaming over the top services, is the one that lags the most.
Let me cut you off, my friend. Who runs WWE Network? MLB, correct?
Yeah.
When I'm at work and I have some downtime, we'll just say I put on MLB TV, and I have issues with them sometimes. Now I don't know if it's my work computer or not, but I can go on like NBC, SN, and I don't have any issues. So it could be something to do with the MLB way they stream. It not to make excuses because WWE and MLB should have been prepared for it, but maybe they're just not capable of. I don't know how many people watch the pay-per-view at once, but maybe they're just not capable of having this many, hundreds of thousands of people view something at once. Netflix, granted you could have millions of people watching, but are they all watching the same show at the same time? Mm-hmm. Not that that's an excuse because a major company should be prepared for it. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I don't know. And I really don't know about the finish of this next match, which was a great match. Full disclosure, it was a great match. This is nothing against the men involved. This is just I don't know what's the word, a microcosm of what's wrong with WWE today. Well, let's start with first off the obvious. All right, this is a great match, but once again, this was John Cena and Kevin Owens murdering wrestling finishers in 2015, Part 3.
A lot of it was their own finishers, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I will say that. Well, yeah, but usually it's they'll hit a DDT and it'll be a kick out or this and that. At least it was their own finishers, and everybody's look. When you have Stardust kicking out of the AA, it doesn't really mean a whole lot at this point.
Yeah, I mean the trend's mostly been with some of the John Cena matches as of late, between the Springboard Stunner, which Stone Cold has ranted about, that's not even used as a finisher. Although Cena paid for the Stunner this time around when he went for it and ended up eating a German suplex.
Well, he did hit it once.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Okay, I guess I missed it when he hit it once, and then. But yeah, the AA. Wade Barrett kicked out of the AA earlier this year. A bunch of guys kicked out of the AA.
Everybody kicks out of it. Neville.
Yeah, that move was like the death move. It was like the pedigree for all these years, and now it's just.
That was the death move and the STF. Nobody could get to the ropes in the STF. Now everybody can.
Mm-hmm. And some people will say this. Well, Fred, it's a big match. It's the blow-off of their feud. You're right. But guess what? They've had 2 other matches. In a span, they've had 3 matches in a span of, 5-6 weeks?
Yep.
I mean, this is a lot here. This is a lot. They overdid it here. Or they've overdone it in general with John Cena's matches. They're great. I enjoy them. I think John Cena has been a great wrestler. In spite of some of his flaws, like calling spots out loud and having the snuggest STF imaginable. All right, he's still, for all his flaws, is a great worker, but it's overkill. It's overkill. For years, we heard about Ring of Honor and how all those guys don't know how to work, and all they do is hit their finishers and kick out and blah, 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 and they don't know when to go home. And here we are in 2015, and almost every WWE main event is like this, for the most part. Unless it's like Brock or something. But it was a great match up until the finish, which was Kevin Owens getting locked in, the snuggest STF imaginable, where all Kevin Owens had to do, and look, I'm not a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, okay? I have not rolled too often, all right? But I'd like to think that Kevin Owens, being a student of the game, especially coming from a wrestling hotbed of Canada, all right? I would think he'd know a thing or two about escaping some holds and reversing submissions. And he was locked in like this. And all he had to do was slide his head. Just slide his head. Something.
Yeah.
He could have bit Cena's finger.
Well,
he could have poked him in the eye. He could have grabbed his ass. He could have done something. But he could have gotten out of STF. But no, instead, that snug STF is locked in. I think Kevin Owens was actually falling asleep because that STF was so comfy. He was just like, oh man, this is nice. And forgot he was in a pay-per-view. And then he was still awake enough where he remembered he had a tap because the STF was so snug. He was falling asleep and Cena goes, hey, you got to tap this to finish our match. Okay. And he tapped, and that was it. He did the infamous Brazilian tap, and that was it. And there were a few thoughts that ran through my mind. A few thoughts. One, I'm going to get an email from Paul Lazenby or a tweet, which I ended up getting. Two, we live in an era right now that is lacking real stars. We live in an era that, whether purposely or inadvertently, tells the audience on a regular basis that the stars of the past are the real stars. And these guys, they're just guys. We live in an era where the people considered worthy enough or popular enough to put over guys like Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose are the Big Show and Kane. Whereas back in the day, John Cena had Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Kurt Angle. And we live in an era today where you have very few chances to make a guy. People will say, Fred, what about Kevin Owens when he beat John Cena in his debut? That was awesome.
That was a long time ago.
Do you know approximately how long Kevin Owens was able to get mileage out of that win over John Cena? Do you remember how long that was, Scott?
Yeah, about 2 weeks until the next pay-per-view.
2 weeks! 14 days!
And in WWE, that's about 14 years.
Triple H retired Mick Foley in February 2000 in a classic Hell in a Cell match that y'all should go watch on the WWE Network.
Great match.
Scott, you're old enough to remember this. Do you know how many years Triple H bragged about retiring Mick Foley?
Probably up until about 2008.
I'd say a little bit.
It was a long time.
It was a long time. About 4 years. About 4 years, until Mick Foley made that little comeback and wrestled Randy Orton and then put him over big. 4 years.
Yeah. I think it might have even been longer than that.
Maybe even longer than that. Okay?
5 or 6, yeah.
It was a long-ass time. All right? It was a long-ass time.
Well, that's the issue, though, that we talked about 20
Actually, let's use a more recent example. Brock Lesnar. He beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. How much mileage has Brock Lesnar gotten out of that win?
A year and a half.
A year and a half, and a new contract paying him like $6 million a year. With free trips to Japan. And Kevin Owens, after beating the biggest star of the last decade, one of the most enduring superstars of all time, he gets 2 weeks. I don't want to hear people say, well, he'll get the title at SummerSlam in a fatal 4-way. I don't want to hear, well, he could rematch on Raw. I don't want to even hear, oh, well, maybe he'll beat Finn Balor for the NXT Championship.
Oh, God.
I don't want to hear it. You have so few chances to make a new guy. Give him the title, and if he flops and he sucks, then you could always go back to Cena. Which is not going to flop, I'm just saying. Cena's bulletproof. He had a sex scene with Amy Schumer. He has Brie Bella. He's on Total Divas. He's got another
he has Nikki Bella.
Yeah. He's got another movie coming up. Okay? He's a 15-time world champion. He can be inserted into the main events anytime. But he had to win this. But he just had to win this. So here's my question to WWE. What is it? What are you doing? You can't have it both ways. Either you're moving on from the John Cena era and you're using this guy who is still relatively protected, to put over a star or two of the future, or you might as well put him back in the title picture and have him be your champion, because clearly he's still booked like he's the number one guy. And you know what's kind of scary? I think he's actually still the number one guy.
Yeah,
which would be great if he was the champion or in the title picture and not feuding with young guys like Bray Wyatt, like Rusev, and like Kevin Owens. And even then, if you wanted John Cena to compete for the world title again, if you wanted to slide him back into the main events, maybe you're watching the recent ratings patterns and going, oh my God, we need Cena back. Owens could have still beaten Cena. Cena could have won some random number one contenders match the next night of Raw, and boom. And he's fine. And then you have Kevin Owens versus John Cena down the road for the world title. And maybe then, after Owens has run roughshod over WWE for 5-6 months, you can have Owens lose in the title match if you really want to. If you really think that's the right move. But at least you got some mileage. Instead, this dude has lost on 3 straight big events. Lost to Finn Balor clean. Lost to John Cena clean. And tapped out to John Cena in the snuggest STF ever. Even Winnie the Pooh wasn't intimidated by that STF. Your daughter would want to hug John Cena with that STF. That's how weak the STF was. Bottom line, wrong finish. It's like John Cena versus Lesnar in 2012. Great match, wrong guy won. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry, Scott.
No, you're fine. I thought you stopped there a couple of times. My apologies. 2012, it didn't hurt Lesnar. You see what he went on to do. Different guy.
Absolutely.
Different guy. I just wanted to add that at the end.
Hang on. Absolutely hurt Lesnar. And then he lost to Triple H. And then it took him 2 years and a win over a guy that hadn't lost in 20 years at WrestleMania to rehab him. So let's get that straight.
Okay, you're right. My apologies. Yeah, but he was still Brock Lesnar. You could have had him lose to, Heath Slater, and it would still be Brock Lesnar.
I totally disagree there, but
all right, well, whatever. That's we agree to disagree. Owens, it could be the same situation. Triple H, WWE knows this guy has a reputation already when he came in, and maybe they don't. Whoa, Manpreet, don't ever say Owens is the next Tenzai. Maybe it's just a situation where they feel like we don't need to give this guy the belt. He's still going to get over. The crowd knows who he is. That's the end of it. And I think I said 5 weeks ago exactly to this night, the U.S. title is the number one title right now in WWE, not the World Heavyweight title. And it's the truth.
You get very few chances to make a guy. And they failed.
Absolutely.
They failed. Even if he wins, I'm not even saying that he won't get over. He's so talented, he will. But what is one of the problems with today's era? You have very few top guys, real top guys. You technically only have really one right now, and John Cena outside of Brock Lesnar, because CM Punk's gone, and Daniel Bryan's career's in danger. So who's going to put over the next generation, the next guy? Brock Lesnar, whenever they're ready for him to actually lose, and John Cena.
I think that at this point, the only way to do it, to put over the next guy, unfortunately, is to have Seth Rollins pin John Cena.
Or in general. I'm just saying in general. Whoever they want.
Well, there is nobody down the pipeline. It's not going to be.
I'm just saying whoever. I'm saying.
It's not going to be Finn Balor. It's not going to be.
I'm saying whether they wake up tomorrow and say our main event is going to end with of WrestleMania is going to end with Roman or Dean or Seth or whoever's standing tall, whatever guy that's of this current crop of main eventers or hopeful top stars or whatever. They need to make it definitive. All right, and I feel like the crowd at this point is trained to not. How do I say this? So like I said before, there's not enough top guys to put over younger guys. So I feel like for a top guy, let's just say Roman Reigns, right? Let's just say Roman Reigns, if he's somehow able to get rehab from this and whatever, whether he turns heel or remains babyface, I feel like the crowd isn't going to buy a guy like Roman Reigns legit as the next guy or even the guy right now if he doesn't pin a Brock or a Cena. Yeah, I think right. I think either of those guys, or it'd be Dean or it'd be Roman, whoever's set to be the heir apparent here, has to pin John Cena.
Yeah.
Because pinning the Big Show and Kane and feuding with Bray Wyatt and, losing
even
to a
if he
thug
pinned
STF.
Seth Rollins, it wouldn't matter.
What happened?
If he pinned Seth Rollins for the title, Roman, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't mean as much.
It would be a big moment, but yeah, it wouldn't mean as much because we've seen Roman beat Seth a million times. And that's the other thing too. There's so much programming, and they burned through so many of these matches, like Owens and Cena. You could have held off this match till SummerSlam. You could have held off this match till SummerSlam. And you know what? If you wanted John Cena to appear on the network special so badly, rather than broadcast that abomination of a house show match, it was like Cena and Dolph against Wade and Kane.
Oh my God.
You could have had on the network broadcast, have it end with John Cena helping Finn Balor win the title, which then sets up perfectly Finn versus Owens at NXT Brooklyn. This time with presumably no interference.
Doesn't do anything for Finn Balor, though. That's the key. Somebody has to lose, right?
Yeah, I guess. All right. Yeah.
You know what WWE programming is right now? It's whose line is it anyway? Scenes from a hat.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the show? It's John Cena, main event. Cool. What are we going to do on SmackDown? John Cena, main event. All right, next. It's just the same thing over and over, and just pick it and go. Because what's the expression? Too many chiefs, not enough Indians, or Indians and chiefs.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't know.
That's I'm not very good with the analogy.
We're making some dated references.
There's just too
many
NWO.
Many
John Cena's, not enough NWO. Yeah, exactly.
Too many NWO members, not enough relevance.
Well, right now this has WCW written all over it. You want to see the stars of the past, not the stars of the future, right? I mean, NXT is the stars of the future. WWE is the same old, same old. Yeah, you get a sprinkling here and there of somebody, you get your little, I mean, you could say Dean Ambrose is your Diamond Dallas Page, and, this one is this, and this one is that.
Dude, Diamond Dallas Page and a lot of those guys were significantly more protected than...
I'm not, go back to the...
I'm talking about the glory days, but if we're talking about NXT, actually, I did a long podcast with Kim Angle the other night about NXT and about everything going on and the potential, and if it's counterproductive that NXT is trying to compete with ROH when they've invested millions of dollars in a performance center, not exactly to be a ROH of WWE. So please, when you're done with this, if you want some time, please check out that podcast. It's pretty in-depth on NXT. She attended the NXT tapings, which feature the next 4 weeks of episodes, so please check that out, unless you don't want to be spoiled. Otherwise, watch in a few weeks. So we had Miz come out. He got knocked out by Big Show. I don't really care about this. It was whatever.
Well, there was the line of the century in it, though.
What was that?
The Miz saying Big Show hasn't been seen since the Attitude Era. Come on, that's like the greatest line I've heard.
All right, that was kind of that was kind of cute. Other than that, I don't care.
That was great. Come on, it's true.
But Big Show turned for like the 45th time.
I don't know if he turned. Remember, he knocked out Kane a couple weeks back.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, I don't care who you are. If somebody says that about you, I'm going to come out and knock them out, too. All right? So. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a lot of comments coming in, so let's finish up. So we had the main event. Yeah. It was way too short. Rollins got his ass kicked. Had a couple shine spots where he slapped Lesnar and kicked him in the face, and Lesnar's got up and beat him up, chased him around. Super athletic for a 38-year-old man. I know, not news to anybody, but he's a freak of nature. And then Undertaker appeared. Well, it was F5.
Well, was it? Yeah.
One,
yeah.
Two.
Gong. Undertaker appears, attacks Lesnar. He kicked him in the groin, gave him a choke slam, gave him a tombstone, gave him another tombstone. Paul Lazenby shot his TV with a sawed-off shotgun, and that was it. That was it, and it was cool to see Undertaker. But again, you didn't have to destroy Lesnar. You could have given us a real finish to the main event, and instead, it was what it was. So overall,
basically, it's been what it's been.
Yeah, from a match quality standpoint, this was. I'm only rating this good because of Cena Owens. It's the quality. It was good, not a great show, but I would even say maybe somewhat mediocre, because if you factor in the creative and the fact that we've seen a lot of what we saw tonight on Raw the last 5-6 weeks, it was kind of just a show. I think the last two Cena and Owens matches were better. I don't think they did Kevin Owens any favors. I don't think they did Brock Lesnar any favors. I don't think they did Mr. Money in the Bank any favors. And primetime players in a New Day, why did I take the New Day seriously? They were beating like drums anyway.
Well, unfortunately, it's that low right now. You have, after tonight, you got to lead the SummerSlam, which is cool.
And then it's going to be crappy all over again.
And until January, yeah. That's just the way it is, and, unfortunate. I know there's been a ton of comments about Undertaker coming back. I think, who was it? I forget who it was. Brett maybe said it, or somebody said it. I forget who it was. That at the end of SummerSlam, Sting comes out, points to bat at Taker, which sets up a match with them. I don't see Taker and Sting wrestling from what I've heard, and I think you agree with that, Fred. That it just doesn't look.
I would say Holy Doodle Squad if that happened. I don't think it will.
Great.
Although I do think that Sting is. I mean, I believe Sting is actually supposed to appear at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I heard versus Bray Wyatt. So spoiler alert for anybody possibly, which you would assume Sting has to win that match. The Mind Games segment vignettes would be pretty cool with that, but after what we saw tonight with Bray and Roman, who knows?
Yeah, who
God, you mean to tell me we could get like Bray and Luke Harper versus like either Roman and Dean or Roman and Sting? Ooh,
God.
Although that would be a way to protect Sting at this point and still have him win a match, so not too bad. Maybe.
Yeah, if only they did that at WrestleMania, right?
And a tag match? No.
Yeah. All right. Bro Lever says, hope Edge replaces JBL in commentary. Not happening because Edge is being cast in... He's being cast in some series. Is it Flash? I think. Let me see here. I'll look it up right now. But he's coming off of a successful run on Haven. And what is it? Oh, yeah. Flash Season 2. There you go. Yep. Congrats to Edge. Good for him.
Manpreet also mentions The Undertaker coming back as to avenge Kane, which I heard that could be a storyline as well, which would be... No offense, Manpreet. We love you and all, and I love you, but... Oh, God, if he comes back to avenge Kane in 2015, that's not good.
I think it's more about the streak and less about Kane.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I've heard that. That's a possibility, though. I did hear that.
Yeah, AJ Adams. Fred, am I going to see you at SummerSlam? I bought my tickets already. Depends. I mean, tickets are mostly sold out. I may be able to get some ticks. Probably
go to NXT. It might be better.
But the thing is, NXT is conflicting with the Jim Ross show, and Jim Ross is a good friend of TSC News, so I would like to go see Jim Ross.
It's also conflicting with Ring of Honor, which
it is, and I want to see Okada. Okada versus Roderick Strong is going to be one of the matches of the year. But Jim Ross is a friend, and he's been very complimentary towards TSC News. He's somebody I greatly respect, and I think I'm
just a hell of a nice guy, right?
No, he's
that's the
cool.
way to put it.
A lot of people like to talk. Some younger fans like to talk junk about Jim Ross. I don't know how that came from. Jim Ross has forgotten more wrestling than most of us will ever know. And yeah, he's been nothing but classy with me and my dealings with him. I interviewed him twice. It was really cool, and I wish his show was earlier. I'm sure he does too, because he's competing with ROH and NXT head to head. But I'll most likely go to a Jim Ross show. As for SummerSlam, to be determined. Depends on the availability of tickets. And honestly, I really don't feel like going all the way down to Brooklyn if I'm going to get crappy seats. I mean, I've been to WWE shows before. I've been blessed to see Sting live, Undertaker live. I've interviewed some of the guys that are on the shows. I mean, it's I've seen Liger live. I interviewed Jushin Liger. Look at that interview in the interview archives. All you got to do is search Jushin Liger, Fred Ricciani. You'll see my interview.
I just don't get that one either.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about NXT.
Oh, Jushin Liger, that book, and that's...
I mean, glad to see him, but it just,
they're catering for the hardcore fans. They woke up.
They're talking about getting 10,000 people. Yeah.
They woke up one day and said, we want to cater to a very small segment of the audience and make NXT the new ECW or ROH. Which
they're not building up their own stars.
Which I guess is cool, but the problem is, what about all those guys that you wanted to build from scratch? What about your Aiden Englishes? What about your Baron Corbins? Your Dana Brooks? What about
Baron Corbin is 2 years away from being 2 years away, to quote Fran Fricella. But yeah, I mean, except for Roman Reigns, really, there is no one.
I could see Baron Corbin kind of being in the Wyatt family.
I
Eric
could,
Rowan
but he's
sucks.
not ready.
Let's just face it. I hope Eric Rowan gets better soon. But Eric Rowan sucks, and I would rather, if you could slide a young guy who can actually have some real potential into that Eric Rowan role in the Wyatt family, be my guest. And Baron Corbin would be cool. He's a brunette.
It would work.
He's got the long hair. He's got a beard. He's got these cool tattoos. Well, some of them are cool. Others
he's got the look.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the look, and he's somebody to me that you could eventually maybe turn babyface and whatever. I am disappointed, however, with the use of Luke Harper in this last year. When I first heard that Luke Harper was getting a singles run, I was like, oh my god, this guy's got starting all over him. At worst, he's going to be an upper mid-carder, kicking ass, holding the U.S. Intercontinental title. He held the IC title for a cup of coffee, and he's been sputtering ever since.
Who doesn't hold the IC title and become sputtering? You want to go down the list?
No, that's all right. It's all
Curtis
right.
Axel?
Oh, God.
You said no, never mind.
God. Mr. Racer, just put the title back on Randy Orton. No.
At this point, why the hell not?
Yeah. Big boy reactions. What happened to that Sami Zayn chap? Well, that Sami Zayn chap, unfortunately, has a shoulder injury, and he's going to be out until the end of the year. Actually, until next year, according to him.
Probably Royal Rumble time.
Yeah, he just appeared in NXT and mentioned that, which just sucks. I feel so bad for him. I think I heard that he was actually supposed to be in Kevin Owens' spot, which was yeah, kind of amazing, right? How that works out, and I feel bad for the guy. Hope everything works out. That's the problem. You sign these guys that work the hard style in the indies, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. And then you keep them in your minor league. I repeat, your minor league for way too long. And by the time you call them up, they start falling apart. Now, Kevin Owens had brought him up relatively quickly. But say if they're going to keep Finn till like next year, if they're going to keep, let's just say they end up somehow keeping Sami Zayn for another year in NXT. I'll put my head through a wall. You're not paying these guys to draw 2,000 people in Philly. Well, I guess you are now with the new NXT philosophy. But the original philosophy of developmental was to develop them so they could be valuable players on the main roster so they can actually make you money on the shows that the networks pay you money for.
It's like Triple H said, though. They're signing these guys from Ring of Honor to develop their style. Yeah. So I guess if you ask Triple H that question, Fred, he's going to say what I just said to you. We're developing a style. So I mean, if you look at it like that, yeah, they're developing guys. It's just the wrong, guys. What you said about bringing these guys up, here where I live, and in between where me and you live, Philadelphia. Look at what the Phillies are doing with Cole Hamels. They're holding on to him too long, and the guy's just getting shelled now, pitching. Yeah. They're not going to get. There's no value there. Look, Sami Zayn had a freak injury. What happened to him? I'm sure he was hurt before that, but it's one of them situations.
True that. All right, let's go to AJ here. AJ, you're on the air. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. What's going on?
Not much. What did you think about Battleground tonight?
Mediocre show, I guess.
Now, I saw you're going to SummerSlam. You're making the trip to Brooklyn. How long are you going to be in New York for?
Probably a week, because I'm going to be visiting my family there. And, yeah, going to shows. I'm actually going to go to TakeOver and then SummerSlam.
Oh, sweet.
So
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll see you around. I'll probably be around in the city. Just send me a DM and I'll show you some of the good food trucks, some of my famous Fred food stops. I'm a big foodie, so we'll grab something to eat. Are you going with Janine?
Yes, obviously.
Okay, very cool, very cool. We'll have a good time. Do you think we'll see Manpreet there with the Randy Orton fan club?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Nice.
What was your favorite match? Oh, go ahead. I was just going to ask you what was your favorite match on the show.
Oh, actually, I have two favorite matches.
Cool. What were they?
The Divas match and Kevin Owens and John Cena. Despite John Cena winning, I still love the match. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great match. Just the finish was...
It's so disappointing, though, because... There were reports in Bleacher Report in that website that Cena was ready to give the title to Owens, And I
I'm
was
sure. I'm
expecting.
sure Cena was ready to do whatever the hell was asked of him to do. He's not the one booking the storylines or anything. And from what I understand, it's not like he has any personal vendetta against Kevin Owens. Now, could a guy like Cena in that position say, "Hey, I really think it's best for business to get this Owens guy over"? I'm sure he could, but at the end of the day, some guys are like that. Some guys are good soldiers, like Cena, and he just wants to, do what he's told. And yeah, I don't know. To me, it made perfect sense for Owens to win. I guess I guess he could end up winning the title at SummerSlam in a Fatal 4-Way with Cesaro and who's the other guy, Rusev. But by then, it's like okay, and I guarantee you that if he does end up participating in that Fatal 4-Way, he's probably not going to pin John Cena anyway. Yeah. So he's going to win the title and not be a legit champion.
Yeah, and I was expecting Cesaro to interrupt the match, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah, that was just uber lame.
I'm expecting both Cesaro and Rusev to interfere, to be honest.
Yeah, and also in the main event, didn't you feel that match was short? Because
Oh yeah. Wait.
It was only like 14 minutes.
Way short. Yeah, I agree.
And I was expecting Dean Ambrose and Reigns to help Seth, but obviously that didn't come through.
No, it didn't. I'm very surprised by that. I mean, look, they could do something for Raw. You never know. Maybe they'll book Brock for Seth on Raw. Probably. Who knows? Maybe Owens answers John Cena's challenge again the next night and he wins on free TV. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm very confused with this booking as of late. I'm not even going to try to guess what's in their heads. I'm really not. At this point, it's just I'm not saying it surprises me. It surprises me. I'm surprised when I am surprised by WWE at this point. If that makes any sense. Nothing surprises me anymore. It's just. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's disappointing. But, dude, I hope you have a fun summer, and hopefully I'll see you around SummerSlam week. Thanks so much for calling. That is AJ, ladies and gentlemen. And he mentioned the Shield, Scott. And I just want everybody at home to think about this, and you too. In the last year and a half, 2 years, WWE has lost Daniel Bryan. WWE has lost CM Punk. They lost the Wyatt family when they were at their peak, and they lost the Shield. Yeah. Yep. And to a lesser extent, they lost Batista, who was a great heel who came into his own again towards the end of his last run.
And Blue Tista.
Yeah. How about that?
Let's go WWE video of Brock Lesnar getting up and leaving from the pay-per-view. Kind of interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's all right. Speaking of interesting, we got Manpreet on the line, the resident Randy Orton fan. I guess we'll close it out with him. Manpreet, plead your case for Randy Orton.
First of all, how about leaving the arena?
I didn't even hear. Sorry, Scott. I didn't even hear that.
Actually, I wanted to talk about the Kevin Owens and John Cena match.
Okay,
but
go for it.
I think he lost because if you think about it, who's the last person to beat John Cena clean twice?
That's a good point.
I have no idea.
No one beats John Cena twice clean.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody.
Maybe here's a good idea then. Don't book the match 3 times. Don't book it twice. Just have Kevin Owens win.
Or save the third match until Mania at least.
Yes.
He didn't even sell that injury that he sort of got at the last
on the apron, yeah. Sami Zayn out
clear like nothing.
Sami Zayn's out for 6 months, but John Cena just magically pops up. It's like he has these magical powers of, he just absorbed some vitamin A from Amy Schumer. Now he could survive pop-up power bombs. I don't know.
Not a bad thing to have.
Not a bad thing to have. Dolph Ziggler will be able to tell you about that one, but yeah, God.
Oh yeah.
Well, Manpreet, I know you're saying that they might as well give the title back to Randy Orton as well. And while I would normally vehemently disagree with you, I have a feeling you may actually have a valid point this time. So I'm giving you this forum right now to plead your case for your boy RKO.
Well, they have nothing else to do for him right now, so who's he going to face at SummerSlam? Big Show? Kane? Oh, wait, Kane's actually going to go against Seth Rollins, probably.
Oh, God, no. Oh, man, I forgot about that.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, no. If they do... Well, first off, Kane's
never
ankle's,
do
like,
that.
shattered. All right? Unless he's a fast healer or has A-Rod's
That's
doctor.
Well, it's Kane. He's going to come back.
Oh, my God. If they do Kane versus Seth for the title at SummerSlam... Oh, man, I didn't even think
That'll be a
about that.
Raw match, Fred. Come on.
Imagine if Kane gets one last run at the title.
Oh, my God.
You know what they could
Kane
do?
becomes a champion in
Hold on.
2015.
You know what they could do?
Oh, my God.
What if they did Kane versus Seth on Raw, and Kane, and somehow set up the Triple H Seth Rollins match that way? Because that's been a rumor too. Triple H and Seth Rollins. Could you have Kane pin Seth Rollins so Triple H gets to face him or something? Oh my God. Only if Kane comes out as like the red mask and all that and gets one more good run, fine. Not that he needs it.
No, it's
but...
not fine.
And I want the Big Show to be the special
And
enforcer.
J&J Security deserve a match, too, so...
I want Big Show as the enforcer, J&J Security at ringside, and I want Mark Henry there as well. Let's just get them all out of the way.
Manfred.
He speaks the truth, Fred. That's
Manfred, okay. I get you on the air after all this time. I give you an opportunity to plead your case for Randy Orton. And you reward my generosity by suggesting that Kane will wrestle Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And you reward me with this suggestion that may actually come to fruition. And knowing you, when you usually mention these things, they typically come true.
No.
In the trollish manner.
Maybe at Night of Champions, not
Oh my
SummerSlam.
God,
Come on.
So I actually...
Well, then who's Seth facing at SummerSlam?
No,
If
you know
Brock's
what?
going against
I
Taker.
did tweet this out.
Keep him off the
you
show.
might
Who
as well...
cares?
Yeah, keep him off SummerSlam. You might as well... Okay, you might as well do Seth versus Cena. Because Cena's been well protected. He's pushed as the top guy anyway. Seth has been booked like a complete biatch. Who else are you going to give the title to? Unless you do a Brock versus Taker versus Seth triple threat, which I also think is kind of dumb. You do Brock versus Cena. Or, I'm sorry, Cena versus Seth. Would you rather see Cena versus Seth in a great match? Even though it's Cena in the main event again? Or would you rather see Seth versus Kane? You know what? Actually, I'm thinking about it. I might want to see Seth versus Kane just to see how that New York crowd will react to that.
You know what, though? Honestly, the match that would make the most sense, even though it's not going to happen, would be Seth versus Roman Reigns. And here's why. Because Seth can say, well, look, hey, I fought Lesnar and I'm still champion. You know, everybody's bitching that I stole the belt. I only got one more guy to go. And then he can beat Roman, however, and say, hey, look, I beat both guys.
Roman Reigns' career is already over.
I know it is, but I'm saying in reality that would make the most sense.
He pinned Roman at WrestleMania.
I know he did.
Roman lost to Bray Wyatt. It's already over for him.
Yeah, it's over.
But it would make the most sense to say, hey, Roman should get the shot again because he got screwed, and it would make the most sense. But it's not going to happen with the feud that Roman's in now with Luke Harper, and
Wyatt. Oh God, yeah. Ugh. Ugh.
I'll have a rant.
All right, well, go on your rant, man. Please don't make.
Where was Dean Ambrose and Cesaro on this pay-per-view?
And Rusev.
They were the hottest guys on Raw, and they're not even on the pay-per-view.
Hey, Manfred, let me ask you something. Was what's her name on the pay-per-view? Oh God, what's her name? The blonde. No, the blonde girl, the interviewer. I can't think. Renee Young. Was she on the preview?
Yeah.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, on the pre-show. I was going to say, now you know where Dean Ambrose was. Anyway. Sorry.
By the way, Chris Cyborg just added me on Snapchat, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but where was Ambrose? Even Rusev, Cesaro, Neville.
Hang on.
They could have just had a random match.
Hang on. The Invicta Women's Champion and former Strikeforce Women's Champion just added me on Snapchat, and you're no-selling this? This is far more interesting than wherever Dean Ambrose and Renee Young and all these people were, all right? And although
it's the same reaction that Ronda Rousey gave to her. Whatever.
Yeah, all right. Well,
this
Ronda
is 2009, Fred.
The Ronda ad is coming soon. That's all I say. All right. Well,
you guys care? I just read that Mark Henry and the Primetime players were pulled over by police at the Scott Trade Center.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's right.
They were let go. But...
Yeah, they were let go, but yeah. Well, listen, would you want to give Mark Henry a ticket?
Nope.
No. Exactly. And Man
Much
Pre,
as I want to slap Brock Lesnar in the face.
Man Pre, before I let you go, man, I will say this tonight, and technically it was in St. Louis, but still, Randy Orton was more over than Roman Reigns tonight, and a majority of the superstars on the card. So I will give him that. But until then, just please, no more suggestions about Kane. Ugh.
Could have said Kane, Big Show, and Rollins. And
God, you know what? Yeah, Kane, Big Show, Seth Rollins. Throw the Miz in there. Why not?
Dude, if Kane, God, could you imagine? I mean, look, WWE is dumb enough to put, and I think I told you that a while back, Fred, Kane versus Seth Rollins as a joke, but not at SummerSlam. But it could happen, man.
I mean, it's not going to be the real main event anyway.
No, no matter what Seth is in, it's not. It's Brock Lesnar and Undertaker at this point. I mean,
yeah.
Although, again, WWE might be dumb enough to put that on Raw somehow. Not that they would, but...
Yeah, let's see. Okay. Let's see, what else we got here? Trying to find a good question to close it out. There's everybody's trolling us about Kane versus versus Rollins, man.
Well, Brett Samuel makes a good one. Cesaro versus should face Owens just for shirts and
yeah, just for that other word and giggles. Yeah, I guess he could do that.
I thought it said shirts and giggles, but I don't know how to read either.
Okay, just a quick.
You know what? That actually should be a match. Let's be honest.
That should, but you know what? Quick suggestion for Kevin Owens. Tan. I'm not saying tan like, with the harmful rays or whatever, but put on some sunscreen and tan. This dude has like the worst farmer's tan I've seen in recent memory. And I would also suggest, just for the sake of his knees, to lose a little weight. Not a whole lot. I'm just saying, you look at a guy like Bray Wyatt, he's a bigger fellow, but he's in shape. Kevin Owens is super athletic, but just for his sake. And because of the fact that Vince McMahon's such a stickler for physiques, right? And
he will. Because if you look at like Daniel Bryan when he first came in to now, he'll be working out.
Daniel Bryan is not Bray Wyatt or Kevin Owens though.
No. But I'm saying body wise, look how skinny he was in 2011, and then go back to even like Mania. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different guy. So I think he'll definitely, he will.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. For his health's sake. And just because I'm worried. Cause and look, Kevin Owens is significantly better than Bull Dempsey ever will be. No offense to Bull Dempsey.
Are you really doing this?
But, I'm just afraid, how Vince is with bigger guys. Unless you're like Mick Foley or something.
Even Mick Foley he made fun of.
Yeah, but Mick Foley made it work. I mean, it's, yeah. You know what I'm saying.
Kevin Owens is making it work. Come on. But anyway.
Yeah, anyway. And lastly, I just want to send a get well soon to Ryback. It was a staph infection. His leg. Not good, but WWE doctors...
Curse of the IC title, man.
Yeah. Curse of the IC title. TNA tag titles are cursed, too. And just best wishes to Ryback here. And Skydoll Sky is saying that Miesha Tate has accepted a fight with Cyborg. I think she mentioned it. I don't think it's anything official. And honestly, I don't think the UFC would book that fight anyway. Because, one... Cyborg's not going to cut to 135. 2, if Cyborg's willing to cut down to 140, why can't you cut down to 135? You know what I mean? And 3, Miesha Tate's super marketable. You know what I mean? Cyborg, no offense to Miesha Tate, would probably destroy her. Actually, I'm almost positive she would destroy her. So, yeah, I don't know if you want to put Miesha Tate in that kind of danger. Plus, Miesha Tate's fighting Jessica Ai. And whoever wins that is probably going to get a shot at Ronda.
I'm looking forward to that Ronda fight in a couple weeks.
She's going to destroy Betchko Haya.
Oh, my God.
The only reason that Betchko Haya may last longer than 14 seconds...
because Ronda wants to beat her up.
Yes, because she beat her friends.
Yeah. Well, and what she said about, was it Ronda's grandfather or whatever?
Oh, her father. No, she's just...
Father.
Yeah.
It was not directly.
Yeah, she said that when Ronda loses, she's going to want to kill herself and her father commits suicide. And... Right. I thought Ronda took it a little too seriously, but you know what? She's a great athlete. She uses things like she's great at motivating herself. More power to her, and you know what? Betch probably shouldn't have said that anyway. So I'll say that. But man, Betch, she's done. That girl's done. I'm telling you, that girl's done. Unless there's like a rusty nail in the ring, and Ronda slips, okay, or accidentally bumps into Herb Dean or Mario Yamasaki, makes some stupid call, like he's prone to doing. All right, this woman at Betchko Haya has no chance. She's going to get, if they let this go, okay, if they don't stop it right away, the second she's in trouble, she is going to look like Rory McDonald at the end of that freaking Robbie Lawler fight. It is. I can't wait. I can't wait. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's.
I think that's enough said right there. All right. Lastly, couple quick news bits real fast. TNA, they thought they signed Hernandez to a deal. They thought Hernandez was released from Lucha Underground. Turns out Hernandez didn't get an official release from Lucha Underground, and even then, I'm pretty sure he had some type of non-compete clause. And oh yeah, if you're wondering, Lucha Underground deals are 7 years.
Are they really?
Yeah, but why somebody would sign a 7-year deal, I don't know. Maybe lawyers looked at him for wrestlers. Maybe the out clauses. I don't know all the specifics. So, Lucha Underground said, no, we have the rights to Hernandez. So TNA has to edit 6 weeks of TV. Meaning they had to edit full angles, full matches, which included MVP and his partner Kenny King. And Kenny King's practically done with TNA, and MVP is officially done with TNA. Whew.
And MVP is the guy who lobbied for Hernandez to come in. Yep.
Yeah, but he's not a lawyer.
No, but he lobbied for Hernandez to be signed.
Yeah.
So I guess TNA kind of said, well, you're a moron for, and he kind of took the fall.
God.
But, we're in a couple months from now. We're not going to be talking about TNA anyway.
Exactly.
It'll be Global Force Wrestling. So
yeah, exactly.
Their ratings just keep getting worse and worse.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as anything else on Raw, you can expect The Undertaker and probably a big rating. And a few programming notes. Tomorrow we will have our No Time to Explain video game review. It's available on Steam and Xbox One right now. We have an in-depth interview with GTA 5 Stephen Ogg, a.k.a. Trevor Phillips. I'm sure after this latest pay-per-view we'll be able to get the Mauler Paul Lazenby back on in a little bit when the schedule eases up. And we have some UFC news about UFC 192. Light heavyweight title on the line. And as I mentioned earlier, an in-depth podcast on all the latest happenings on WWE NXT. So please check it all out. If you enjoyed this recap, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. If you're on PS4, PSN, and you would like to join our fire team in Destiny, please hit us up. I need some help with these Nightfall strikes. I know Scott doesn't know what that means, but please hit us up. So tweet us, Facebook us, do what you got to do, spread the good word. Don't forget to subscribe. If you would like to make a small donation to TSC News, it covers all our production costs. You'll get some cool free swag in return. All you got to do is go on youtube.com/thesportscourier, click on that support button, make your donation. You'll get something very nice in return in the mail. Maybe one of my old collectible DVDs or VHS tapes, maybe a t-shirt, whatever. It's a mixed bag, but we take care of all you. Either way, we thank each and every single one of you. I know that's Vince McMahon's favorite phrase, each and every one of you, for all of your support. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Hopefully you enjoyed it more than Battleground. Until next time, everybody, woo! As always, enjoy the matches.